Hi friends, my name is Maruti and I'm the co-founder of Kraku. In this video, we'll be looking at the video solutions of LRDI for CAT 2022 Slot 3. This was a fairly difficult paper where a lot of students had a lot of difficulty. In fact, there was even one question which was where people raised objection to it and the IMCAT has decided to ignore it. So we'll go through even that in the video solutions. But overall, this has 20 questions and one of the question is ignored. So we'll have 19 questions in this video. We'll be initially showing the question. Please pause the screen at that time. And after that, the video solution for the question will come. If you are having any doubts, try to solve this question on your own, any question. And if you are having still any doubts with any of these questions, feel free to comment below the video. Let us know why you think the solution is either incorrect or lengthy. And if you have a better way to answering that question, again feel free to comment below the video. I look at all the solutions, especially the elegant solutions or the nice solutions that students present, and I'll definitely try to respond back to each one of them. Kraku provides a lot of free materials for CAT. We are providing 3 free CAT mocks. All of them are in the latest pattern and have detailed video solutions. You have to just Google search Kraku free CAT mock to get access to the 3 free CAT mocks. They're taken by thousands of students from all across the country and they will benefit you quite a lot. You can immediately figure out how you're faring when you're taking a mock which is in the latest pattern of CAT. If you're looking for previous papers for CAT, we also provide all the previous papers of CAT with detailed text and video solutions in a PDF format. You can just Google search Kraku CAT previous papers to get access to the previous papers of CAT. Not just CAT, we provide previous papers for all the important MBA exams like XAT, SNAP, CMAT, IFT. We provide previous papers for all of them completely for free with detailed video solutions. We also have detailed formula PDF. So all the important formulas for CAT across the different topics, we have created a PDF which is downloaded and read by thousands of students. You have to just Google search Kraku CAT formula PDF to get access to that page where you can download all the PDFs. Where you can download all the PDFs completely for free and they will benefit you quite a lot. Thanks a lot. If you like this video, please do like it and please do share it with your friends. In this question, we are given a bar chart. We are essentially told that a survey was conducted in 1980, which shows across a different spectrum of men and women. They were segregated according to their ages. So 250 men between 10 to 20 years old were surveyed. Similarly, 250 women between 10 to 20 years old were surveyed. Across the different age groups, 20 to 30, 30 to 40 and 40 to 50 were also surveyed. And how many of them were alive at different periods of time, that is at 1990, 2000, 2010 and 2020 is also given. With this information, let us go ahead and answer the questions that follow. In 2000, what is the ratio of the number of dead male to the number of dead females among those who are being tracked? In 2000, over here, what is the total number of men who were alive? That will be 180 plus 205 plus 160 plus 100. This is 260, 440, 645. So 645 men were alive. And what is the number of women who are alive? That is 210 plus 175 plus 150 plus 120. This is equal to 270, 480, 655. So 655 women were alive. This would tell us that the number of men who passed away, who died, is 1000 minus 645 because initially 1000 men were surveyed. So this is 355 men. And what is the number of women who passed away? That is 1000 minus 655, which is equal to 345. You can divide both of them by 5. So the required ratio is 71 is to 69, which is option A. How many people who are being tracked who were between 30 to 40 years old in 1980 survived until 2010? So in 1980, if they were between 30 to 40 years old, which bracket would they be in 2010? 30 years have passed away. So all of these guys will be between 60 to 70 years old. So in 2010, that is this bar chart, how many men are alive between 60 to 70? That is 90. And how many women were alive? That is 100. So the total is 190. Let us look at the next question. How many individuals who are being tracked who were less than 30 years of age in 1980 survived till 2010? So in 1980, there are two groups. One group of 250 people are between 10 to 20 years old, and another group is between 20 to 30 years old. In 2020, that is after 40 years, these two groups will be between 50 to 60 and 60 to 70. In 2020, that is in this bar chart, how many men between 50 to 60 are alive? That is 140. And how many women are alive? That is 100. So 240 are alive. And amongst 60 to 70, it is 125 men and 105 women. This is 230. So the total number of people who are less than 30 years old in 1980 who are alive in 2020 will be 240 plus 230, which is 470. How many males who are being tracked who are between 20 to 30 years old in 1980? So we have 1980. We are looking at the men who are between 20 to 30, died in the period of 2000 to 2010. So this group in 2000, their age group will be between 40 to 50, and in 2010, that age group will be 50 to 60. In 1980, there are 250 of these guys alive, 250 men were alive. In 2000, between 40 to 50, we have 205. And in 2010, in 50 to 60, it is 165. So the number of men in this age bracket who passed away between 2000 and 2010 is 205 minus 165, which is 40. In this question, we are asked how many females who are being tracked who are between 20 to 30 years of age in 1980 died between the ages of 50 to 60. The answer for this question, in our opinion, is cannot be determined. We cannot determine this unless we know the exact distribution of how old each of these women were in 1980. We can't just have a bracket of 20 to 30. We should know how old exactly each one of them was. The reason for that is very simple. What we can say, let us see, in 1980, in the age group of 20 to 30, we have 250 women who were alive. In 2000, these guys will be between 40 to 50 years old. In 2010, these guys will be between 50 to 60 years old. In 2020, these guys will be between 60 to 70 years old. In 2000, between 40 to 50, women is 175. In 2010, between 50 to 60 is 145. In 2020, this is 105. From this bracket of 250 people, what we can say for certain is that before 2000, 75 of them died. But we can't individually say how old they were. That is because we don't really know how old they were in 1980. That is, in this 20 years, we know that 75 people have died. Similarly, in these 10 years, between 2000 and 2010, 30 women have died. This is 175 and 145. But again, we can't individually say how old each one of them was. In 2010 to 2020, again, we can say that 40 women have died, between 145 minus 105. But again, out of this 40, what was the ages of each one of them when they died is something that we can't say for certain. Because if you are looking at this 40 women, for example, in 2010, they are between 50 to 60 years old. Let us consider an example where all of these 40 are, say, 55 years old. This is just an example. And we know that they died before 2020. But again, we don't know when they died. Suppose they died in 2019. That is, all of them say died in 2019, that is 9 years later. Then all of them died when they were 64 years old. But suppose all of them died in, say, 2011. Then all 55 of them died between the ages of 50 to 60. So again, unless we know the individual ages of each one of them, and unless we know when between 2010 and 2020 they died, one of the two has to be given for us to really identify their individual ages at the time of their death. Because all the bar charts that are given are basically a snapshot of time. We are told that there are a group of 250 people, and amongst that group, how many were alive at different times is given to us. But flipping it around from an individual standpoint cannot be done because we don't know their individual ages.
Google search Krakow free cat mocks. Click on the first link. You can attempt 3 latest cat mocks in the actual exam interface. After completing the test, you get detailed solutions, analysis, percentile along with your scorecard to gauge your all-India performance. Click on the solution to get video solutions from our expert faculty.
In this question, we are told that there are 4 neighborhoods. Let us call those neighborhoods L, T, P and K. During the onset of a pandemic, there are 5 days and we have to record how many cases were there in each of these 4 cities. across the 5 days. We have been given some clues, and using these clues, we have to basically fill the table. So let us first draw the table. The table will have some rows and columns. So it will look something like this. This is the first city L, this is the second city T, this is the third city P, this is the fourth city K, and this is the total. This is day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5, and total. Let us go through all the information that is given, then we'll come back and try to fill the table up. The first information that is told is that each cell is either 0 or 1 or 2 or 3. The next one is that there is at least one new case in every neighborhood on day 1. So on day 1, all of them are at least equal to 1. On each of the 5 days, there are more cases in K than P. So in every day, K is greater than P. The number of new cases in the city in a day kept increasing during the 5-day period. So here it is always increasing. And the number of new cases on day 3 was exactly one more than that of day 2. So if this is x over here, on day 3 there were x plus 1. The maximum number of new cases in a day in P was 2, and this happened only once in the 5-day period. So max in P is equal to 2, and it happened only once. K was the only place to have 3 new cases on day 2. So K has 3 on day 2. Let me clean this slightly. And this is the only city. Basically, we'll write no other city had 3. No other 3. The reason to write these kind of things is when you fill up the entire table up, and if you're trying to figure out what are the clues, if you write these kind of things, at least something will strike in your head. That is the reason I write these kind of things, so that all the clues are at least represented in the same page as the table. The total number of new cases in L, T, P and K over the 5-day period are 12, 12, 5 and 14. So this is 12, this is 12, this is 5 and this is 14. The first thing to do is we can immediately identify the total number of cases in the city during the 5-day period. That will be 12 plus 12 plus 5 plus 14, which is equal to 43. The second thing to identify is the distribution. Identifying the distribution of K is easy. You have to distribute 14 across 5 days, and it can be only 0 or 1 or 2 or 3. So that would imply that it has 4 3s and 1 2. This is the only way in which you can distribute 14 across the 5 days such that all of them are less than or equal to 3. Similarly, for P also it is easy. For P, because the total has to be 5 and you can have 2 only ones, it would imply that there is 2 ones, it will have 3 ones and it will have a 0. But the distribution for L and T is more complex, because we can distribute 12 across 5 days such that they are 0 or 1 or 2 or 3 in multiple ways. We can put some effort and try to narrow it down, but it is very time consuming, and I felt you can't really make a lot of progress in that. You can do that, but I don't think it will add a lot of information. So we'll just keep it at that. If needed, we'll distribute 12 across the 5 days. What is the other information that we have? When you're looking at 43, we are told that the number of cases across the years has been increasing. So let us try to get a sense of what will be the total on the first day, what will be the total on the last day. If we can get some sort of a bounce on it, it will help us in identifying what is the smallest possible value of the total on day 1. The smallest possible, because all of them is at least equal to 1, we can assume that all of them are 1, 1, 1 and 1. So the total will be minimum is 4. But then you will remember that the number of cases in K is always greater than the number of cases in P. So if you are having 1, 1, 1 and 2, the minimum possible on day 1 is 5. If the minimum possible on day 1 is 5, let us also try to understand what is the maximum possible. We know that the number of cases in the city across the 5 days is increasing. So if the number is say 6 on the first day, on the second day the minimum will be 7. On the third day the minimum will be 8. On the fourth day it is 9, and on the fifth day it is 10. This is totaling up to 40. This seems fine. There is no issue here, because the total cases is 43. In this distribution we got a number which is less than that. We can always say that on the last day or in some of the middle days the number was slightly higher. What will happen if the number of cases on the first day is 7? If the number of cases on the first day is 7, the minimum number on the second day will be 8, and the minimum number on the third day will be 9. Similarly, on the fourth day it has to be 10, and on the fifth day it has to be 11. This becomes 45. This is greater than 43. So if the first day the number of cases is 7, the minimum number of cases in the city across the 5 days is 45, which is greater than 43. This would imply that on the first day the total is either 5 or 6. Similarly, let us try to get a sense of what is the total on the last day, what is the maximum and what is the minimum. The maximum total on the last day will be if all of them are 3, 3, 2 and 3. Because the number of cases in K has only 2, it doesn't have a 3, and the remaining 3 cities we can have 3 cases on the same day. This would imply that the maximum possible is 11. What is the minimum possible? Can it be equal to 10? If the number of cases on the last day is equal to 10, on the fourth day it will be 9, on the third day it will be 8, on the second day it will be 7, and on the first day it will be 6. This is the maximum possible total across the city over the 5 days if the last day total is 10. This would imply that this is equal to 40. So if on the last day we have only 10 cases, that is on the fifth day if we have 10 cases, and the number of cases across the city is increasing, we will not be able to reach 43 cases. This would tell us immediately that the total number of cases across the city on day 5 has to be 11. And if it is 11, there is only one possibility. That is, this will have to be 3, this will have to be 2, this will have to be 3, and this will have to be 3. Once we have done this, let us try to do the same thing for day 4 also. Now across the first 4 days, the total has to be 43 minus 11, which is equal to 32. Now what is the maximum possible number on day 4? Because on day 5 the total number is 11, the max on day 4 is 10. Now can it be equal to 9? If on day 4 it is 9, what is the maximum number of cases in the city across the 4 days? On the third day it will be 8 maximum, on the second day it will be 7, and on the first day it will be 6. This will total up to 30. This is less than 32. So if on the fourth day we have 9 cases, we will not be getting 32 cases in any arrangement. This would again immediately tell us that the number of cases on the third day has to be 10. And if it is 10, because the 2 for the city P is already allotted on day 5, it would imply that there is only one distribution that is possible. We should have 3 on day 4 in L and T. We should have a 1 in P, and we should have a 3 in day 4 of K. This is the only way, this is the maximum possible, that will be equal to 10. Now we will again repeat the same thing. What is the numbers that are accounted for on day 4 and day 5? We have accounted for 10 and 11, which is equal to 21. So on the first 3 days, we should be able to get 43 minus 21, which is equal to 22 days. We should get 22 cases across the first 3 days. And what is the maximum possible for day 3? Day 3 maximum possible is 9. If it is 8, the maximum possible on the second day will be 7, and the maximum possible on the first day will be 6. This is totaling up to 21. So again you would immediately realize that the total for day 3 has to be 9, and therefore for day 2 it has to be 8, because it is just 1 less than day 3. And counting it up, how much did we get? 11 plus 10 plus 9 plus 8 is equal to 38. So on day 1 the total has to be 5. And if the total of day 1 is 5, the only way that is possible is if it is 1 over here, 1 over here, 1 over here, and 2 over here. Now if the 2 is accounted for K, this would imply that on day 3 this will be 3 for K. So for 3 of the days we have been able to account the total number of cases across each of the 4 cities. The only thing left is day 2 and day 3. Day 2 we know the total for K, and day 3 also we know the total for K. So in the first 3 cities, this one, this one, and this one, that total has to be 5 on day 2. And the total for day 3, this one, and this one has to be 6. How are we going to get 5 on day 2 if there is no other 3? What is the maximum possible value for P? The maximum possible value for P is 1. What is the maximum possible value for L and T? There is no other 3. So the maximum possible will be 2 and 2, and this is adding up to 5. This is the only way that is possible. So this would tell us that this will be 2 over here, this will be 2 over here, and this will be 1. If this is 1 over here, this has to be 0, and you can add it up that this will be 3 and this will be 3. This way we fill the entire table up. If you get the idea to actually figure out the total number of cases on day 5, then you will be able to figure out the total number of cases on day 4, and day 3, day 2 and day 1 also will immediately follow. That is the chain of thought to go and solve this question in a quick manner. Let us go ahead and answer the questions that follow. What is the best that can be concluded about the total number of cases in the city on day 2? That will be equal to 8. What best can we conclude about the number of cases in live on day 3? This one is exactly 3. On which day did P not have any new case? That is again day 3. Which of the following statements below is or are necessarily false? The first statement says there are 2 new cases in T on day 3. On day 3 we have 3 new cases, so this is false. There are no new cases in P on day 2. That also is false. There was 1 case. So both of them are false. So both statements A and B are necessarily false. So that is the correct answer, option D. On how many days did L and T have the same number of new cases? They had the same number of new cases on each of the 5 days. So the correct answer is option D.
Google search Krakow CAT formulas PDF. Click on the first link. You will get a list of topics for CAT. Click on one of the topics. Download the PDF to get a list of formulas for the topic.
In this question, we are told that in a university there are 2 types of students. They are computer science students and they are non-computer science students. So let us divide both of them. This is CS students and this is non-CS students. All the CS students do 2 courses. One is in AI and the other is in ML. And non-CS students do exactly one of it. They either do AI or do ML. We are told that the proportion of the number of students in CS, non-CS, who did AI and ML is 2:5. So if we assume that this is 2x, this will be equal to 3x. And the total number, 2x and 5x, because this is 2:5. So the total number of non-CS students is 7x. Now we are told that the number of non-CS students who took either AI or ML was equal to the number of CS students. So essentially this means that the number of CS students is equal to the number of non-CS students. So the number of CS students is equal to 7x. The number of non-CS students who failed in 2 courses was the same, in both the courses was the same, and the total is equal to the number of CS students who got a C grade in ML. So let us divide each of the course into A, B, C and F. Similarly, this also we have people who got A, B, C or F. Similarly, over here also we got A, B, C or F. Here also we have A, B, C or F. The number of non-CS students who failed in the 2 courses is the same. So let us assume that this is B and this is B, and this is equal to the, and the sum, the total is equal to the number of CS students who got a C grade in ML. This is equal to the number of CS students, so this will be equal to 2B. In both the courses, 50% of the students who passed got a B grade. So in AI, the number of B's is equal to A plus C. Similarly, in ML, the number of B is equal to A plus C. So basically, some CS students got B in AI, some non-CS students got B in AI. But if you sum all of them up, if you are trying to find out the total number of B grades in AI, that is equal to the number of C grades and the number of A grades. For AI, the number of students who got A grade is the same as the number of students who got C grade. So B is equal to 2A. While in ML, they are in the ratio of 3:2. So let us assume that the number of AI is 3Y. Therefore, C also will be 2Y and B will be equal to 5Y. No CS students failed in AI. So no CS students failed in AI. This will be equal to 0. While no non-CS student got an A grade in AI. So this is equal to 0. the number of CS students who got A, B, C grades in AI respectively is 3:5:2. So this is 3P:5P:2P. And in ML that ratio is 4:5:2. So this will be 4B:5B:2B, because we assume that the number of students who got a C grade in ML is 2B. The ratio of the total number of non-CS students who are failing in one of the two courses, that is equal to 2B to the number of CS students failing in one of the courses, 3:1. Or essentially this would imply that this is equal to 2B/3, because we know that no CS student failed in AI and the total number of non-CS students who failed is 2B, and this ratio is 3:1. So 2B/3 will be equal to the number of CS students who failed in ML. And finally we are told that 30 students failed in MI. So this would imply that 2B/3 plus B is equal to 30, or 5B/3 is equal to 30, or the value of B is equal to 18. So once you have the value of B, we can try to fill some of the things up. This is 2B/3, so this is equal to 12. 2B is equal to 36. 5B is equal to 90. And 4B is equal to 72. Therefore, the total number of CS students will be equal to 72 plus 90 plus 36 plus 12. This, if you sum it up, will be equal to 210. That will be the value of 7x. So the number of students who took AI is also equal to 210. This is divided in the ratio 3P, 5P and 2P. So this is equal to 10P. So 10P is equal to 210, or the value of P is equal to 21. So the number of students who got A grade is 63. Who got B grade is 105. And who got C grade is 42. Now we know that 7x is equal to 210, so x is equal to 30. So the number of non-CS students who took AI is equal to 60, and ML is equal to 150. B is equal to 18, so this is 18 and this is 18. Now, how can we proceed further? What we know is in AI, the number of A's is equal to the number of C's, and the number of B's is equal to the sum of A plus C. What is the number of students who got A in AI? That is 63 plus 0, so that is 63. So the number of C's also has to equal 63. So 42 plus this number will be equal to 63, or this number will be equal to 21. So the total number of A's is equal to 63 in AI. So the number of B's will be equal to 126. So if B is equal to 126, out of which 105 came in AI, this will be equal to 21. Now you can also guess that 21 plus 21 plus 18 is actually equal to 60, which is matching up. So that is another way we can identify it. Now let us look at the number of non-CS students who took ML who got A, B and C grades. Let us assume that this is A, B and C, just to avoid confusion. So what is the total number of A grades in ML? The total number of A grades in ML will be 72 plus A. The total number of B grades is equal to 90 plus B. The total number of C grades is equal to 36 plus C. We know the value of A plus B plus C, because A plus B plus C plus 18 is equal to 150, or A plus B plus C is equal to 132. We also know that the number of B grades is equal to the number of A plus the number of C grades. So this would imply that 90 plus B is equal to 72 plus A plus 36 plus C, or B is equal to 18 plus A plus C. Now we know that A plus C is equal to 132 minus B. So this would immediately tell us that 2B is equal to 18 plus 132, which is equal to 150, or the value of B is equal to 75. So this is equal to 75. Now let us look at A and C. We know that the ratio of A and C is equal to 3:2. We also know that because this B is equal to 75 and A plus B plus C is equal to 132, this would tell us that A plus C is equal to 132 minus 75, which is equal to 57. Similarly, the total number of A grades, like we discussed earlier, is equal to 72 plus A divided by the total number of C grades is 36 plus C. This is in the ratio 3:2. If you cross multiply, this will be 144 plus 2A is equal to 108 plus 3C, or 36 is equal to 3C minus 2A. A plus C is equal to 57. So 2A plus 2C is equal to 114, or this would tell us that 36 plus 114 minus 2C is equal to 3C, or the value of C is 30 and the value of A is therefore equal to 27. This is just simplification. This is 30 and this is 27. Now that we have all this information that we need, let us go ahead and answer the questions that follow. How many students took AI? The number of students who took AI is 210 plus 60, which is 270. How many CS students failed in ML? That is equal to 12. How many non-CS students got A grade in ML? That is 27. How many students got A grade in AI? The number of students who got A grade in AI is 63, because this is 0. So 63 plus 0 is 63. How many non-CS students got B grade in ML? That is equal to 75.
We at Krakow provide all the previous year CAT papers along with many other MBA examinations such as IIFT, XAT, SNAP, MAT, CMAT, TIS and PGDBA in the actual exam format. You can attempt them as a test and get a detailed analysis of your performance or download them as PDFs.
To solve this question, what we need to figure out is that the sum of the numbers in every row will total up to 40. Because at the start, each one of the 4 people had 10 rupees each, and the money was just exchanging from one person to another person. So if you look at the total of every row has to be 40. Another thing you should identify is that what are the missing numbers in Pulak's column. Pulak got a maximum of 13 and a minimum of 10. So all the remaining numbers will be either 11 or 12. Similarly for Kasim, the minimum is 8 and the maximum is 12 and all the 10s are given. So all the missing numbers should be either 9 or 11. For Ritesh, the maximum is 10 and the minimum is 4. So all the missing numbers should be either 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 or 9. For Suresh, the minimum is 8, the maximum is 13, all the 10s are given. So the missing numbers will be either 9 or 11 or 12. Because we know that the sum of every row has to be 40, Pulak's money with Pulak at the end of round 1 can be identified. That will be 40 minus 10, 10 and 8, that will be 12. Similarly, Ritesh's money at the end of round 2 can be identified. That will be 40 minus 13 minus 10 minus 8. This will be equal to 9. Similarly, we can identify how much Ritesh had at the end of round 5, because the sum of the remaining 3 is 33. So this will be equal to 7. We are also given that Pulak and Kasim had the same amount of money with them at the end of round 4. So that would imply that both of them had only 11 rupees, because the missing number in Pulak's column will be either 11 or 12, and that in Kasim's column will be either 9 or 11. The only common term is 11, so that will be 11. Once you identify it, let us look at some more information that we can infer. If you are looking at round 8, the sum of Pulak and Suresh is 13 plus 10, that is 23. So the sum of Kasim and Ritesh has to be equal to 17. Now Kasim is either 9 or 11, so this 17 can be either expressed as 9 plus 8 or 11 plus 6. Now you would identify that this cannot be equal to 8. This cannot be equal to 8 because Ritesh in one round cannot gain 4 rupees. So this will have to be 11 plus 6. So this will be 11 and this is 6. Similarly, if you are looking at the money at the end of round 7, the two numbers that are given to us is 12 and 4, so they total up to 16, and the remaining has to be total up to 24, the remaining two. Now you know that Pulak can be either 11 or 12, 12 being the highest, and Suresh is either 9, 11 or 12, again 12 being the highest. So this 24 can be only made up as 12 plus 12. This is 12 and this is 12. Similarly, if you are looking at the shift from round 4 to round 5. In round 5, Pulak and Kasim lost 1 rupee each. They had 11 rupees at the end of round 4 and now they are having 10 rupees. So both of them lost 1 rupee each. This would imply that the remaining two had gained 1 rupee each. So Ritesh at the end of round 4 will have 6 rupees and Suresh at the end of round 4 will have 12 rupees. Now if you are looking similarly at the shift from round 3 to round 4. From round 3 to round 4, Suresh has gained 2 rupees. So somebody has to lose 2 rupees in round 4. Who would that person be? If that person was Pulak, at the start of round 3, he should have 13 rupees. That's not possible because only 11 or 12 is allowed for Pulak. That cannot be Kasim because he also is not allowed to have 13 rupees in any rounds. That would imply that the only person who would do that is this guy Ritesh, who would have 8. Now let us try to identify how much money Pulak and Kasim had at the end of round 3. The sum of the remaining two is 10 plus 8, that is 18. So the sum of Pulak and Kasim will have to be 22, which is 40 minus 18. Now this 22 can be only expressed as 11 plus 11. Because Pulak is allowed to have only 11 or 12 in his blanks. So this 22 will be either 11 plus 11 or 12 plus 10. But Kasim cannot have 12 in his column. So this would imply that this has to be 11 plus 11. So this is 11 and this is 11. Now if you are looking at the shift from round 5 to round 6. In round 6 you know for sure that Ritesh's money would have been lesser than 7. Because from 7 it has to go to 4 in 2 rounds. This would imply that he has to lose minus 2 in 1 round and he has to lose minus 1 in 1 round. That is the only way that is happening. So the money of Ritesh has definitely decreased. Whether it is by minus 2 or minus 1, we don't know. Similarly, the money of Suresh also has decreased. Because from 13, he will either have 9 or 11 or 12 in his blanks. So definitely it has decreased. Again, whether it decreased by minus 1 or minus 2, we don't really know. Because both of them have decreased in round 6, it would imply that the remaining two, that is Pulak and Kasim, have to increase. That is, they have to win in round 6. This would imply that the money with Kasim will be 11. That is, he gained 1 rupee in round 6 and he also gained 1 rupee from 11 to 12 in round 7. Now, if you are thinking about it, there has to be a minus 2 for Ritesh in one of the 2 rounds. Ritesh has to lose minus 2 and minus 1 in round 6 and round 7. This would imply that somebody has to gain 2 rupees in round 6 or round 7. Now that cannot be Kasim because Kasim gained 1 rupee in round 6 and round 7. That cannot even be Suresh because Suresh cannot gain 2 rupees either in round 6 because then it will become plus 15, that's not allowed, or even in round 7 because if he is gaining 2 rupees in round 7, it would imply that his score over here or the money with him has to be 10. That is not allowed because he cannot lose 3 rupees. This would imply that the only person who would gain plus 2 in round 6 or round 7 has to be Pulak and therefore this has to be 12. Now if this is 12, we can immediately identify all the remaining. Pulak did not change anything from round 6 to round 11. So he did not win or lose. That has to be either Ritesh or Suresh. The only possibility is that it is Suresh. Now you can identify that this is 12 plus 11 plus 12 is 35. So this has to be 5. There are many other ways in which you can fill this table, but this is the way I felt was most comfortable. We are focusing primarily on the fact that the sum of every row has to be 40. And if you are using it, you will fill most of the tables. Once you have identified all of it, and if there is a complete row which is empty like in round 6, then we have to think further. We have to figure out that, okay, every plus 2 should have a minus 2. Every minus 2 should have a plus 2. And if you are focusing on that, you will be able to fill this up. When I was first solving this question, I tried to focus on who was paid against who. That particularly is not needed. If you're looking at the set, out of the 5 questions, only 1 question is related to who paid against who. The remaining 4 were about how much money a particular person had at the end of each of these rounds. So let us go and answer the questions. What best can be said about the money that Ritesh had with him at the end of round 8? Ritesh had 6 rupees, exactly 6 rupees. What best can be said about the money with Pulak at the end of round 6? Pulak had exactly 12 rupees. How much money did Ritesh have at the end of round 4? At the end of round 4, Ritesh had 6 rupees. How many games were played with a bet 2? Now to answer this easily, let us figure out for each one of them PQRS, how many times there is a plus or minus 2. That is, they either won 2 or lost 2. If you are looking at Pulak, in round 1, he got plus 2. In round 3, he got minus 2. In round 6, he got plus 2. That's about Pulak. If you are looking at Kasim, Kasim got minus 2 in round 1. He got plus 2 in round 2. And that's about it. If you are looking at Ritesh, he got minus 2 in round 4. He got minus 2 in round 6. And he got a plus 2 in round 8. If you are looking at Suresh, he got minus 2 in round 2. He got plus 2 in round 3. He got plus 2 in round 4. And he got a minus 2 in round 8. So Pulak lost or gained 3 times. Kasim lost or gained 2 times. Ritesh lost or gained 3 times. And Suresh lost or gained 4 times. This is totaling up to 12. But every time this is repeated 2 times. That is, once somebody loses 2 rupees, another person gains 2 rupees. And we have counted both of them separately. This would imply that the number of games which happened with a bet 2 is 12 divided by 2, which is 6. Which of the following pairings was made in round 5? In round 5, the losers and the winners, if you are looking at it, the losers were P and Q. And the winners were R and S, Ritesh and Suresh. So the pairings can be either PR and QS, this is one possibility, or it is PS and QR, this is another possibility. How do we identify which of them is correct? We know that a pairing cannot be repeated across 2 consecutive rounds. So let us now look at the pairings for the next round, that is say round 6. Here we know that P gained 2 rupees and who lost 2 rupees? For round 6, P gained 2 rupees and R lost 2 rupees. So P and R was the pairing for round 6, which would imply that it is Q and S for round 6. This pairing cannot happen in the immediately preceding round. So it cannot be this one. So the pairings for round 5 are PS and QR. So that would be PS. This is the answer.